Sporting Globe in Moonee Ponds. I'm Teo Pellizzeri, joined by Adem Saricaoglu. We've just come off another big weekend of EDFL football, and we're going to wrap up round 4 and look ahead to round 5. Adem, let's start with the biggest talking point of the week, and there were plenty to come out of round 4, so what caught your eye out of the weekend of footy?
Apologies in advance to Avondale Heights, because that comeback against Airport West was unbelievable, and they've now knocked off all of the finalists from last year as well, so they've been absolutely awesome so far this year. But for mine, Teo, it's the rise of the teal, black and white, and no, I'm not talking about Port Adelaide, I'm talking about the Hillside Football Club. They've come up from Division 2 after an awesome year last year. In Division 2 they won the flag, only lost the one game to Moonee Valley last year, and they've come up this year. We know there was some upheaval during the off-season, but they've been extremely good so far this year, back up in Division 1. They just got pipped at the post by Tullamarine, but some very good wins since then against Taylors Lakes. And they're knocking off West Meadows at Willowbrook on Saturday. They've really set up their season well. Don't worry about that, Teo. They are a contender in Division 1.
Well, my big talking point of the week is from Division 1 as well, but I'm not talking about the good news, I'm talking about the bad news, Adam, and that is for Glenroy and for Oak Park. Two teams, one coming down from Premier and the other that played off in a grand final, and yet here they are, not in the bottom 2 spots on the ladder because you get 4 points for a bye and there's a bit of percentage, but they are the 2 remaining winless teams in Essendon Ford Division 1. So for me, that's the biggest talking point of the week, and we might get to the discussion about the bottom of the ladder in Division 1 later on in the show. It's a huge program coming up on EDFL Web TV. We'll be joined by the Moonee Valley coach Charlie Fenech. Also, match breakdown this week is from the classic between Airport West and Avondale Heights. We're here at the Sporting Globe, 690 Mount Alexander Road in Moonee Ponds, and you're watching EDFL Web TV. Now on EDFL TV, it is time for the wash-up. Adam, we're back at the EDFL offices to break down round 4, and we start with Premier Division. Your winners at the weekend were Avondale Heights, Greenvale, Aberfeldy, also Strathmore and Keilor getting up in a close one. Let's start with Greenvale's 8-goal final quarter over the top of the Northern Saints after perhaps one of the biggest upsets in recent EDFL history was on the cards.
Yeah, not sure what the turnaround was at three-quarter time, but yeah, the scores were filtering throughout the day, Teo, and we're taken aback by just how that game was panning out. But yeah, certainly Greenvale, something clicked in the last quarter. I'm not sure what Adam McPhee said to the boys at three-quarter time, but something must have worked, and they were desperate for their first win, and it was good that they finally got up.
Now, Pascoe Vale pushed Aberfeldy to a narrow victory for the 2 Blues. They get back on the winners list after a bit of a disaster on Anzac Day against Avondale Heights. But what did you make of Kyle Reimers being dropped to the reserves? He kicked 12 goals in a 180-odd point win, admittedly, but apparently he also dished off a handful of goal assists as well. So a bit of selfless play to go with a bag of 12. But what does it say that he's gone from marquee recruit to the reserves within the space of a month?
Yeah, look, he was obviously, quite frankly, been ineffective, I suppose, in his games in the one so far this year. But it's good to see that Aberfeldy are going to pick their side each week based on form and, I suppose, value to the team as opposed to reputation and, I suppose, the pay packet as well. But it was good that he got back. He's desperate to get back into the ones, Teo, and yeah, look, kicking those 12 goals, I dare say he'll be playing in the ones this week. He'll be playing at 2 p.m, that's for sure.
What about the Keilor win against Essendon due to Stars? Another one-kick defeat for the Stars. Another heartbreaker as well. It was quite a tense finish there. Does this say that the Stars are improving, or does it say that Keilor are coming back to the pack?
I dare say I reckon the Stars are improving. Keilor, they would have did what they had to do, I suppose, to get the win. They obviously are a better team at the moment, and the Stars, yeah, look, they were stung a bit by Pascoe Vale, I reckon, 2 weeks ago, so a good effort against Keilor. But yeah, no, Keilor is still going all right. I dare say they did what they had to do to get the 4 points, but yeah, hopefully the Stars can start building sooner rather than later.
And of course, Maribyrnong Park, narrow defeat in context against Strathmore, who would have started a reasonably warm favourite, but apparently Marby were confident that second time around later in the season, the gap will be even closer, and perhaps Marby might even be able to pull off the upset. We move on now to the Essendon Ford Division 1. Your winners at the weekend were West Coburg by a point, also Taylors Lakes by 2 points, Hillside and Craigieburn getting up for their first win of the season. It leaves West Coburg as the last team standing unbeaten, but Tullamarine had a lot of chances to win the game. We were there commentating it for Northwest FM, Adam, and Tullamarine really, they'll come away from that match feeling like they could have won, and the next time they play, they are every chance to win.
Yeah, look, it's still very early in the season, and it was a really hard game to play in and hard to call, to be honest, Teo. Really hard to provide, I suppose, too many scoring opportunities. Each time Tala did go inside 50, they weren't exactly the best users of the footy on the day. So, yeah, look, it was only round 4 very early in the season, and they will meet again a couple of times, hopefully, later in the year. But, yeah, very even game of football, and West Coburg just sat slightly better on the day.
Craigieburn got their breakthrough win at the expense of Glenroy. We'll speak more about the Roys later in the show in rapid fire. But what about Craigieburn on the board? 21 points, so it's not like it was a cliffhanger falling over the line. They stayed clear in the final quarter. Probably a good thing for them to get on the board given some of the losing margins they had earlier in the season.
Very modest, Teo. You picked it as well for Craigieburn to get up. So, yeah, great win for the Eagles. But, yeah, the blowtorch really does come on to Glenroy now.
And just lastly, Hillside are in the top 4 after beating West Meadows. West Meadows' good run comes to an end after just the 2 weeks. Hillside, you've been getting on their bandwagon. I picked them for relegation and might have to revise that call. But Adam, what are you thinking about Hillside now that they've got 2 wins on the board and the only team they've lost to this season is Tullamarine?
Yeah, look, they've been very good this year coming up from Division 2, obviously, and they did push Tullamarine all the way. And, yeah, I am on their bandwagon. I've got the teal shirt on tonight, Teo, for this edition of EDFL TV. So I'm on the Sharks bandwagon, and hopefully they can keep going and really push for September.
That's the wash-up from Strathmore Community Bank Premier Division and Essendon Ford Division 1. We have a special guest joining us for our wrap of Division 2, and you're watching EDFL Web TV.